Hello, everyone. I see we are getting a lot of delegates joining us right now. Just wait another minute for more to join, and then we can officially begin this webinar today. Okay, we're nearing 100 already, which is a very, very good sign. Thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. I know you all have very busy days, so that really means a lot to us that you could be able to carve out some time to attend this discussion. All right, so I think this is the perfect time to really talk about why we are here today. But before, a very warm welcome to everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for a very, very important discussion on the topic AI at scale, blueprint for data center innovation in manufacturing. Now, as you all know, the manufacturing sector is entering an era where Industry 4.0 converges with Industry 5.0. AI, robotics, IoT, and cyber physical systems are reshaping production lines, supply chains, and even the way decisions are made on factory floors. But as these technologies scale, a fundamental question arises. Are our data centers ready to support the AI-driven, data-heavy demands of modern manufacturing? Managing massive volumes of data in real time, enabling predictive analytics, and ensuring business continuity requires infrastructures that are not just reliable, but also agile, scalable, and sustainable. So today's session will dive into exactly that. We'll hear how data centers must evolve in the age of AI, explore real-world challenges from manufacturing leaders, and hear from CIFI Technologies on how they are addressing these challenges with future-ready solutions. My name is Yamini Kalra. I'm a senior editor here at ISMG, and I will be your moderator for the next 1 hour, and I'm very thrilled to welcome all of you. Now, before we begin, I do want to get some opinion from our delegates here. And for that, let's have a quick poll question on the screen for all of you. All right, here's what we would love to know. Where is your organization in its AI adoption journey? There are a few examples here. Just exploring use cases, piloting AI models, scaling in production, already running large-scale AI workloads, or not started yet. Remember, there is no wrong answer here. It's just for us to get some sense of where we are at. Okay, so we'll wait maybe a few more seconds, and then I'm just excited to know the results for this one. What do you think, Sugata? Can we have the results now? All right, this is very interesting. So more than half of our delegates here are exploring use cases. 18% have said they are piloting AI models. 16% scaling in production. Only 4% are running large-scale AI workloads, and 11% have not started yet. So it's a very, very interesting mix of audience that we have here. And I believe all of you will have some takeaways from today's discussion. So without much further ado, let's kick things off. I'd like to invite our first speakers from CIFI Technologies for their presentation. Please join me in welcoming Sojin Joy, VP Product and Solutions Head DC Services at CIFI Technologies. He's joined by Amit Bhatt, Director Business Development, DC Services at CIFI. Gentlemen, take it over.
Thanks, Yamini. This is Amit Bhatt, and a very good afternoon to all the attendees here and all the panelists here, and happy to share our thoughts about data center evolution. As far as AI is concerned, there's a lot of transformation which is happening in and around data center space and the entire ecosystem, and would like to discuss, and obviously would invite views from your side also, that as a manufacturing industry, what all considerations, what all priorities a manufacturing industry would have as far as the data center selection is concerned, and what is the way forward as far as your considerations are, revolving around data center, and specifically when AI is now around the corner, and as I understand, most of you are evaluating use cases, exploring use cases. So it makes a lot of sense for us to discuss and carve out a space wherein we are in AI ready space, and data center helps you evolve in that journey. Next, Sumit. Yeah, so during our various discussions with a lot of CIOs, we have understood, and we are trying to have more use cases and try to bring that ecosystem wherein all these priorities of the CIOs and the manufacturing industry companies are catered to. What we have understood is that the scalability and flexibility is a major consideration when a data center uh, decision making is considered, or when you think that when you want to add on to the workloads, specifically like AI workloads or any other workloads, what is required is you need a scalable and a flexible environment, a data center which can cater to upscaling as well as downscaling of your requirements, of your infrastructure. So that capacity planning, a lot of things are lost when you do a capacity planning which is not in tune with your current requirements. You do a 10 years capacity planning and a lot of your resources are not utilized at present. That also brings to the cost optimization, that when it is scalable and flexible infra which you have, it optimizes a lot of costs for you, and the TCO, if you see, if it is an OpEx based model, obviously you do not want to put in a lot of capex right away, and that's where a partner who has a scalable infra available for your evolution, that is a major consideration for a lot of manufacturing industry companies. Coming to global connectivity, since it's the data center is not only space and power, it's also how you are connected to your global counterparts, or maybe to the remotest of the locations at with where your users are there or factories are there. Obviously you need a hyper connected environment. So the location or data center should be carrier neutral. It should be having a least latency. You should have least hops to reach to your maybe global clients or to your counterparts globally, as well as remotest locations in India. With AI coming into picture again, the GPU density, a lot of applications require a GPU and a lot of processing is happening. So that is where you need a partner wherein the it's ready to cater to your AI applications, and so it should be hyper connected as well as it should be a hyper dense environment is possible there. So again, the vertical scalability and within the rack scalability. So a partner who can cater to your requirements, maybe up to 100 kilowatts plus or 200 kilowatts plus kind of per rack density is possible. So this is becoming a priority for your considerations right now. Resilience and compliance, obviously. So compliance plays a major role as far as many manufacturing industries are concerned, and building that compliance within your on-premise setup does not make sense, because obviously it involves a lot of cost, it involves a lot of processes, manpower, to ensure that all these compliances are maintained and managed for a long term. So that is where a purpose built uh, data center, with obviously having a with a sovereign data center with a lot of compliances coming into picture now. So that is a priority right now for all the manufacturing companies. And it goes without saying that obviously manufacturing companies are dealing with a lot of carbon footprint, and they want to reduce the carbon footprint across all their verticals. But data center is something which they are looking at reducing the carbon footprint, and that's where along with the green building, or the utilization of the renewable energy. So that is a consideration which many data center manufacturing companies are looking at, to ensure there is a high productivity and a sustainable growth which is possible across all these parameters. So that is the priority which we are trying to address as a partner. Sumit, next. And that is where we are trying to build up the foundation of a future ready data center. So what does it mean that it's a future ready data center? Considering all the parameters what we just discussed, that it should be scalable, it should be flexible, it should be able to accommodate 200 kilowatt plus kind of density per rack. So that is where we have over a period of 25 years, that those considerations we are also evolving along with our customers for past 25 years. And keeping all that in mind, that infrastructure what we have made ready is, I can say that we are capable of maintaining it for the next 15 years from now onwards. In line with that, like, there are techniques needed for cooling, so we are ready with liquid cooling for up to 300 plus kilowatt density racks. Then also what we have seen in manufacturing industry is that a lot of data getting generated through various applications, IoT based applications and others, where you need the local presence near to the user, near to the data getting generated. And that's where you're looking at edge computing and decentralization of the data. So a partner who's able to provide edge computing also, and connecting it to the overall ecosystem. So we have built that kind of infrastructure. I'll just come to that where all we are and where how we are trying to bridge that gap for you. And along with this, it should be sustainable and having all the operational excellence parameters, and with the enhanced security and compliance. So this is the foundation which we are trying to build, wherein it is scalable for you, it is available with the least latency, and the entire ecosystem supports your all the applications, whether it be AI application or a legacy application, or building a hybrid environment which is encompassing all this environment, all this parameters. Next. Yeah. So if you see, we have very good presence across India, and these are our 6 major metros where we have built huge presence as far as data center is concerned. Mumbai being the largest, and Mumbai we have 3 campuses. Mum 3 being the one of the largest campus, close to 500 megawatts of capacity, which is available. And right now we are operating 5 towers, and there is an addition of additional 7 towers, which we are expanding. Similarly in Chennai, similarly in Noida, in Bangalore, Kolkata, Hyderabad. So all these 6 major metros, there's a lot of expansion happening. We have various customers who have their presence across different seismic zones in Mumbai, as well as in, let's say, in Bangalore or in Chennai, or in Mumbai and Hyderabad. So that gives a leverage for for being a single point of contact, and the expansion possible at each location. Apart from this, we are also going to Chandigarh and Lucknow as our edge sites. That these sites will be ready by this year end, this financial year end, and we are also going to additional 20 locations as edge locations. So that's where we are looking at a presence where we can support you on edge locations, as well as, and giving a complete ecosystem across all your network as well as data center requirements at all the locations. Next. Yeah, so when I was mentioning that we are capable to deliver up to 200 kilowatts plus per rack. So we are certified, and we are the first in India to get certified as a DGX ready data center by NVIDIA, who's the leader in as far as GPUs are concerned. So we have certified all our Mumbai, Chennai, and Noida campuses, wherein you can host 200 plus kilowatt in a single rack. And with the expansion happening, it is possible for us to cater to different environments. Like, as I've been mentioning, that it can be acting as a hybrid environment for you, where you have your legacy applications. We have modules wherein we can provide the low density rack, and we have modules where we can provide a high density rack, and both are interconnected in a LAN environment. So this kind of setup we have built across, and all our new data centers coming in India are capable of handling this kind of high density racks in each setup. Next. This is an edge which is specific to SIFI. As I was mentioning that there are a lot of AI inferencing which is possibly happening at edge locations, right? So as a partner to you, we have enabled that we have our own NLD backbone and global connectivity terminating in all those locations also, right? So we have our own cable landing stations in Mumbai, in Chennai, and in Kolkata to help you get connected to your global counterparts or your global customers. And from there on, we are also connected on NLD, our own NLD backbone, high speed connectivity between all these locations. They are interconnected. So any of your edge locations or any of your data center which is on SIFI DC are interconnected, and so that let's say you have an AI inferencing at one of the edge locations and AI training at the primary DC. So these are interconnected on a very high speed connectivity from us itself. We are also connecting so you to the AWS nodes. We have all the services, all the hyperscalers. We can commit a less than 1 millisecond of latency to these hyperscalers because like major hyperscalers have connectivity nodes in our data centers. So that ecosystem is enabling you as a customer to ensure that you have the entire environment ecosystem, and you use data centers, CFI data centers as a landing station from where you can connect to the entire world. Obviously, it goes without saying that all these data centers are carrier neutral data centers with all the ISPs, with all the internet exchanges connecting to, and the CDN nodes connecting to this. So in all, 1 billion plus eyeballs get connected in a single hop to these data centers. So that's the fabric we are offering to you. Global command center. So as I was mentioning that, it's very pertinent for us to have a unified command center as well. So all these three locations which I just mentioned, Chennai, Mumbai, and Noida, they have global command centers which operate as a BCP also to each of the other sites. So from Mumbai, I can monitor Noida as well as in Chennai. So that kind of a command center is available, which ensures that we provide a proactive risk mitigation to prevent downtime, and we are providing 100% uptime to all our customers across all these 25 years which we have been managing the data center business. So we are the first ISP in India, our first private ISP in India. Also, we are the first private player who has been operating data centers, and we just completed 25 years of our first data center. So it's a proud moment for us. Next. For compliance certifications, many of your end customers who might need, MIT empanelment, all our data centers are MIT empaneled. As I mentioned, we are DGX certified, DGX ready certified data centers from NVIDIA, and all the compliances related to sustainability, to the IT service management, business continuity management, entire environmental management, SOC 1, SOC 2 compliances. All our data centers are certified with all these certifications. So by default, when you host your data set, your infrastructure with us, the infrastructure is certified by all, is complied to all these certifications, so that you need not invest manpower as well as resources to get all these compliances at your location. Next. So our operational philosophy is 6 zeros: zero availability incidents, security incidents, safety incidents, zero resiliency risk, and zero defect, and zero carbon footprint. Obviously, by 2030, we have target to go completely carbon neutral, because of certain regulations. Right now, we are at 70% plus, but we target to have 100% of carbon neutrality by 2030. So in all, having a partner wherein who can support the entire ecosystem for your scalability requirements as well as for your connectivity requirements, we are there to support. And further, how we are breaking it down in terms of power and cooling to make it a AI-ready data center, I would invite Sojan to take it forward from here.
Okay, thanks, Amit. Thanks, team. Thanks again for giving the time and effort. See, basically, what we've just heard or listened, basically, we have understanding of a manufacturing division, where typically, what is the pain areas which a data center or a company or a cloud company or a manufacturing device company would have it. The pain areas are basically hardware failures, availability, more of capex getting involved, the new generation servers which is getting upgraded, the requirement is scaling up. All those requirements, how do we fetch up in a data center? That's where SIFI has come to a roadmap where with the technology innovation, how are we integrating all these five drivers, making sure that it is an AI enabled data center, and what have we done past 25 years, and that's what we scale it across. Over to the next slide. Yeah. Yeah. So these are the four components typically for a data center, where we typically drive it based on the factors which is getting implemented, and power as a major factor. Cooling is the second aspect. Third is the networking. Fourth is the server all. So what we have done is when we say that we are NVIDIA DGX certified in a data center, that means it has got all these four elements crossing across, making sure your availability, your cooling efficiency, your network dependency, your server all design factor is all independently working together, and it is in a redundant model factoring to a scalable data center or scalable component inside the data center working fine and well. It matches from when we talk about power itself. Over to the next slide. Yeah. So when we say how we have learned our lessons today, when we say SIFI has been building data centers across past 25 years, now we have been managing, operating data centers across region, across in multiple states or multiple regions. We have developed not only enterprise segment, not only certain segments of the data centers sectors, whether it is BFSI, whether it is manufacturing industry, whether it is OTT platforms, whether it's e-commerce platform or today the cloud players. Today, the lessons learned is basically from the hyperscalers. We deal with cloud players like the Googles, the Amazons, the Microsoft, where when they build the data centers, they ensure these four elements are well captured and well implemented in a way that all this, starting from a redundancy model, from an efficiency perspective, from a scalable and flexibility option, has been availed. Talking about power itself, from the substation to the end rack to the end server itself, how is it be driven, how has it been redundant. If you see the below rack models, the 1 2 7 8 and 1 1, these are typically different segment of network servers or server racks, or racks, I would say. One or two is basically kind of a kind of a compute which is medium density racks. 7 and 8 is a high density racks. The network racks are in the corner. So how do we scale it? How do we make the power provision for multiple high density or rack, multiple segment of the data center racks? That's how the power provision facilitates. So today these lessons have been learned based on all these factors and ensuring that we have a scalable power redundant model, ensuring this data center is up and running smoothly. Okay. So whether it is a kind of a redundancy model, whether you talk about today, we have only heard about N+1 or N+N. When you talk to AWS, when you talk to Microsoft, and when you talk to Google, they have a different philosophy itself. It's not only N+1, it is N+1 plus N+N or N+2C. 2C is basically a catcher system, which is typically allocated more than a redundancy. So there are different power technologies which is developed. At the same time, how do we ensure that cooling efficiency is brought to the table, where the server today is typically where the rack was taking 6 kilowatt or a 3 kilowatt per rack. Now it has been driving to 130 to 200 kilowatts. We have tested up to 130 kilowatt rack with a liquid cooling option. So these are the three available options today within the premises, where any of our data centers which has got a requirement, like today, if you bring up a rack and say that I would have a multiple GPU based servers, and these GPUs are running up to a scale up of 120 or 130 kilowatt. So there are different technologies which can be built in the cooling adaptation, where if you talk about liquid cooling, that is one of the method which we follow. Customers who would bring their rack which has got liquid cooling enabled hardwares, that can be scaled up to a level that we have a liquid cooling pipe arrangement, the CD units, which is the cooling distribution unit, piped up to individual racks to the chip level itself. Second model is the rear door heat exchanger. This can scale up to a capacity of 40 to 50 kilowatt per rack. So a customer where the hardware is still dependent on an air-cooled mechanism, we implement rear door heat exchanger model. Third is the immersive cooling model, where there are certain types of customer who say that we have a platform or a server platform which is dipped in the dielectric liquid, that itself will be modeled. So all together we have different technologies or different cooling technology which can suffice the efficiency, which can give a redundancy model. At the same time, any scalability up to 200 kilowatt can be built in within the system itself. Yeah, next. The server hall. Now, this is a very interesting factor because we just now spoke about power and cooling. How do we ensure that it is a mixed hybrid model in the entire server hall itself? The server hall can bring, just assuming that you as a customer brings in multiple variants of the density of racks, a low density rack, a high density rack, a third very high density, which could be scaling up to 1 to 200 kilowatt. So the low density is still dependent on air cooled mechanism. The high density can be clubbed to an RDHX method. The more higher the higher version of the high density scale is could be adapting a liquid cooling. All is inbuilt in within the server hall itself, and how ensuring that you have a redundancy model, you have a different segment clustering model within the server hall itself. So there could be multiple customers within the server hall. There could be multiple segment of cooling mechanism within the server hall. There could be all power provision, cooling provision, and everything within the server hall itself. So this has got the factor that today the 6 kilowatt rack was typically requesting of a load of 1200 kg per rack. Today, now we are talking about 2100 kgs per square meter per slab itself. So the slab weight has to handle more capacity of rack because of the weight of the GPU servers. So the rack which was 42U is now scaled up to 52U. So the amount of weight which has increased. So the slab weight is also been arranged in a way that it can withhold maximum capacity of racks. Okay. So these are some steps which we have taken. Again, these are all lessons learned from our hyperscalers and enterprise segment. BFSS segment has got different category. Manufacturing has got a different methodology. The hyperscale has got different thought process. So all this clubbed together, we have all built in within the server hall itself. Yeah. Next. Very key area, which is the network highlights. Today, when we talk about physical infrastructure, we spoke about power, cooling, and the server hall itself. When it comes to networking, we have made sure that across region of data center, we are not a direct retail ISP. We are a data center connectivity provider, ensuring that all our data centers are well connected within a very low latency. That's our benchmark which we target at, with a microsecond delay. That's what we targeted within a range. So a customer who is hosting can get a leverage of AWS cloud or a Google cloud or Azure cloud within nanoseconds, and that's where we are ensuring that we have minimal tier arrangement within the capacity of CFI's network. We have a reliable network. We are also playing a role of neutral carrier provisioning, so that it is not only CFI's network, it can be provisioned with multiple carriers within the premises. We are also ensuring that every carrier who is terminating it within the manhole to the meet me room to your individual rack, and we have access to all the cloud players. So this is a kind of a USP what we have set it across, that networking is something is our a total enabled factor, and it is all software driven. It is purely controlled, software controlled mechanism where AI algorithms or network platforms have been built across regions. Yeah. Next. This is something which is we call it as BMS system, which is when we say BMS system, it is a building automation system, which is a brain of a data center. When I say brain of a data center, it captures all the elements within the data center. Now, what we have done is from the selection of the equipment, we have ensured that every hardware when we purchase, just to give an example, a genset, a generator, when we buy it, we have a certain specification which we categorize so that the sensors would actually track every mechanism of every algorithm. This is again built in within our algorithm records. We have built in a framework where our CMMS tool captures the built up a framework so that it is built up in a fashion that it can be in an algorithm, so that it records old database. It puts up a new records, imagining a generator failure. if it is occurring because of certain reasons, that could capture, and that has been fetched in the database, and it is basically strict as alarm. So it has got a control mechanism also, it has got a monitoring mechanism, and at the same time it has become a dashboard to all of our customers, at the same time internal stakeholders. So with the sensors, with the proper sensors, within the proper equipment, what we have done is a framework what we have built in. The twin, what is basically a kind of an element which gives you a virtualized dashboard, which has got an analytics engine, which has got a ML recordings, and this is again full twin has got its entire element. This becomes a regular update on the knowledge base itself. The function layer is basically the layer which typically gives you a kind of a feasibility analysis for our business analysis, for our next offerings, from our remediations or rectifications for new corrections what we are supposed to do, for our management to go which portfolio which has to be done, and at the same time we are delivering it to the clients also as a dashboard to the end client. From an operation feasibility, what are the steps which we need to mitigate as a single point of contact, or the remediation what has been done from an operation point of view, that has also been factored in the function there. Yeah. Next. So what we claim, or what we are saying is that, see, we have got a 25 years of experience in terms of data center build, networking, cloud platforms, and the security platform. All these things is a must, which we typically carry forward, and that's what we have a global. We have a global footprint in multiple areas. At the same time, we have pan India across 14 data centers which are up and live running, approximately capacity of 227 plus megawatt data center, scalable up to 1 gigawatt. There are six campuses actually been built up in Mumbai and Rabale region, and the two more capacities which is built in Noida and Chennai. So footprint of approximately 600 megawatt is on the radar. 20 plus edge data centers is coming up and running. Network fibers across data centers, that is something which we claim it. We have a AI stack model which is approximately giving it to all our customers, where today you talk about any NVIDIA certified GPUs or any other AMD certified GPUs can scale up to region up to 200 kilowatt per rack. We have an operation excellence of almost 20 years of experience. Sustainability is our key focus, where typically if you talk about tariff rates, for power tariff rate, which plays a major element, green certification, we are an IGBC green certified data center. So it's a prime factor for our data center element, where we have signed a PPA with our power authorities to make sure that power tariffs gets reduced, and that has been transferred to the client. That is all inbuilt within the system, and that's what we carry forward in past decade. Yeah, next. So we have been tried, we have been tested, and I would say trusted too. Okay, so this is the portfolio of our services what we carry forward. All this on the right hand side is something which are certification and awards what we have got. Any questions, anything which is there from our side, we'll be able to answer it. I've not touched base more on the security. It's a different segment. So we do have a separate security layer itself, which we will focus on. I saw some questions from a security point of view. Yeah, Yamini, that's it from our side.
Speaking on mute.
Yamini, we can't hear you. Sorry.
Really sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's audible.
I really don't know what went wrong there, but I was just congratulating on your silver jubilee. 25 years is a lot, and a lot has evolved in the past few years. So pat yourself on the back there. I want to move ahead with a very interesting panel discussion, and I would like everybody, all our brilliant panelists, to be on camera for now. And I want to assure all our delegates that this is something that they do not want to miss. So please stay till the end of it. But before we move on, again, I want to just get an idea of where our attendees are placed right now. So let's have a quick poll for them. Okay, so do you currently operate your own in-house data center? We have three options here. If you do full house, fully in-house, partially in-house with some hostage, or is it fully outsourced? We'd love to know where your data centers actually lie. And also, I just want to take this moment to remind our delegates here, if you do have questions, please put them on the Q&A box on your screens, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. If you have questions for any particular speaker, please do mention that, and we'll be sure to take it up. Okay, let's wait a few more seconds and then we can proceed with the next part of the session. All right, let's see what we have here. That's a very interesting mix. So 43%, the majority, which is really less than 50% though, have partially in-house data centers with some hosted. 25% have fully outsourced and 33% have fully in-house. So especially Sojan and Amit, you have something to work for. You're very different candidates here and you have to please all of them. So your work is cut out here. But okay, so this brings me to the next part of the discussion, which is the panel discussion. And I'm absolutely thrilled about it because we've heard from the hosting providers' point of views. And now let's just get some enterprise leaders also in the mix. We have an excellent group of leaders here with us today. Allow me to briefly introduce them first. We have already met Sojan and Amit. They're joined by Sriram Prasanna Narayana Swamy. He's the Group Practice Head, Director Cloud IT DC Transformation at Wipro. He's joined by Sudeep Agarwal, CIO Reliance Infrastructure, Mr. Atul Govil, CTO and Head India Glycos Limited, and Sujoy Brahmachari, CIO and CISO at Rosmota Technologies Limited. So very power-packed session we're going to have, and I'm really excited for it. So without much further ado, let's just dive in, right? Sriram, let me start with you here because, you know, we've been hearing this a lot. Manufacturing workloads aren't just sitting in one neat place. Today, they are spread across the factory floor. You have edge nodes, private DCs, and of course, the cloud. So when AI and IoT scale across such a fragmented landscape, what are the biggest integration challenges that you see coming up from the infra side?
Yeah, it's very relevant questions. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me. Okay, I see a mild echo. I want to put one step back and see how manufacturing workloads operate right now in the situations where even we are in 2025, we still see many manufacturing customers have edge data centers, and some are in co-location on-premises facilities. And it's all where smaller data centers, which is physically located closer to their factory floors and to process the data locally. So this is to bring in more very instantaneous, need of sensors, data, machines, and have to use a low latency processing for their robotics and etc. So because of these situations, right, it's very difficult to bring in an AI and IoT, even a better IoT situations for a lot of manufacturing customers. If you look at their IT landscape as such, okay, they have very decade-old operational technologies, okay, that were not built with modern whatever security protocols or any other integrations for the AI and IoT in mind. So this puts a lot of fragmented data centers and a lot of data silos and so much of compatibility issues for the newer cloud and AI tools, So it makes the digital transformations very, very complex and cumbersome process. And whoever is actually the customers migrated towards their industry 4.0 technologies of IoTs, in the recent years, putting them onto an AI and the modern IoT solutions, right? The data handling is very, very difficult. So it's a very massive data volumes comes out of their sensors, machines, and all other supply chain systems. So putting them on to a AI, it needs very structured way of data, but this is very unstructured, and it is also again silos, very fragmented. Getting them gathered to make it to an AI infusion is too difficult, and due to their compatibility issues of the legacy platform they have versus the modernized AI platform, this put again, it puts a bigger roadblock to getting them more to an AI mode of operations. And if I look at that, their network latencies, because it's all locally operated, getting them onto a public cloud space, and it brings up two important challenges. One is the latency, of course, because these are all very edge data centers closer to the manufacturing facilities where every data needs to be sensitized and processed locally and with a higher speed. So if you put it on the public cloud with an AI, and getting so much volume of data getting processed in an AI mode into public cloud space, which is very difficult. Not many manufacturing customers are even willing to take that step. There's a huge amount of resistance coming in from top-down approaches, especially. And when we talk about the cost, of course, see, getting these systems getting transformed into a higher and a much better IoT mode, or with the AI public space and public data center space, it is so much of initial cost is required, which many companies at this turbulence period of markets and industries going through post-COVID, not many customers are willing to take it. So they have to take it step by step and make a smaller investment, get their non-production workloads first moved to see how it performs and how the data security is, how cyber security is, because they are more prone to ransomware attacks and many other attacks. Even I've seen IP theft happen, which a couple of other manufacturing customers in our jurisdictions. That puts us a very severe security, or cyber security challenges, for all these manufacturing, facility oriented edge data centers and their IT landscapes. Okay, if we can talk going on, with a lot of other areas which why companies resisting it, but this is where majorly, I see a challenge, putting on through, manufacturing facilities into a higher or modernized IoTs and AI platforms.
Very interesting. And there's also a very key point about interoperability. It's not just about technology, it's about how these systems actually talk to each other. And Sudeep, if I can bring you in here, because infrastructure and power are very capital intensive industries. So AI clearly has promise, but you also have to maintain a very delicate balance with other sort of non-negotiables, right? So when you think about modernizing that kind of an IT infrastructure for AI-enabled operations, what do you think? What are your top priorities there?
So, Reliance Infrastructure is basically into, the power business, the roads, metros, and defense as well, right? So, few of the businesses are very regulated, and few of them are, the capital intensive businesses. So, it is very important and the requirement to balance between what remains on premise and what goes on cloud. Okay, so one thing, based on our assessment in last few years, we have concluded that it is not possible to be 100% on cloud, and definitely because the kind of transformation, the kind of the impact that AI ML is creating, it is not possible to be 100% on premise as well. Okay, so
Yeah.
we will continue to be hybrid, and the workloads which are very static, the less variability is there and a lot of regulations are there. We prefer it to be on premise, and typically this is around the defense business, the metro business, and all. And the areas where we need a lot of variability, like where we want to have digital transformation, AI-enabled use cases, okay, where the requirement fluctuates, right? You have an option, should have an option to scale up and scale down, and where you can quickly spin it on a short requirement. I think that is where we're going to rely on cloud. So that's how our industry will be. It will always be a mix. And even if while I was reading a couple of things, globally also, irrespective of the sector, 50 to 60% of workload are on cloud. Okay, so still 40 to 50% of the workload runs on-prem. And those stats will not going to change very significantly in next couple of years. Okay, could be 5%, 7% here and there. So we need to rely on cloud as well as on-prem at the same time.
Perfect. And Atul, let's get your thoughts in as well, because process manufacturing, especially like chemicals, for example, that depends on a lot of on predictive analytics and optimization, and that means handling massive volumes of real-time data and very little room for error there. So what are some of the key challenges you face to ensure reliability and speed at scale from your experiences?
Thanks, Yamini, and thanks ISMG team for having me here today. And I've gone through the whole interaction with Sifi team just demonstrated, and I'm in complete awe the way they have shaped up their operations. So I think coming to our company, India Glycol, so we have been in existence for more than 35 years now, and typically right from inception, no, we were fairly instrumented. So we had control systems. I will not call them IoT based systems, but instrumentation and control systems were in place in most of our plants and units. And when we started our journey way back in 2019, just before COVID stuck, so we did a whole IoT implementation for one of our largest plants, and that we chose in a hybrid mode. So some part of it which had process data, we deployed it on-prem, and those linked to utilities, electrical power and other utilities data, that we put it on the cloud. Because in many cases, especially with IoT sensors, no, you can't even size the compute and storage on day one, because you don't even know at what speed and what exceptions uh, data would keep getting ingested, and what kind of KPIs we would ultimately end up measuring. Because initially, you have to start making sure that you have interoperable systems, so that you get data out of those legacy systems out in the IT system. So that's what we started off with, and that gave us significant business benefits. I'm not just talking about IT benefits, significant business benefits, so to say. And especially when remote work was enabled, so we could enable some monitoring of our plants remotely also, because that was also important, because we had inventories which were kept. So what we now see in the, because that's almost 5 years back, and a lot has changed in these 4 5 years. Now, if you see, we've been talking about data as the new oil, okay, but you have to see that no, ultimately, where is all this data churn happening? Where is it coming from? So it's the data center, okay. That's where, so I call data centers as the oil wells. So they are the oil wells from which the data churn keeps happening. And if you don't maintain the oil wells well enough, so what you get, garbage data out, or you get garbage out. So we, in this current era of knowledge based enterprises like ours also, so data centers, we believe is foundational, as much as any other equipment, for powering the digital landscape, and basically enabling decision support. So that is one. Second is, from for us to do predictive maintenance, or to do maybe quality, real time quality monitoring, real time throughput monitoring, all of that. Of course, there are some parts of it on which can be enabled on prem, but then it's always that, no, you, for you to utilize and consume AI models, no entity of our size, no, we are almost now 10,000 odd crores annual revenue. Even at our size, we can't basically imagine to set up a whole AI based data center, because that will come at a prohibitive cost, and you don't even know how soon whatever you deploy would become obsolete, because the rate of obsolescence is also quite high. So from that standpoint, it always makes sense that for us to be able to consume these AI tools, AI models, capabilities, and to get the flavor of this magic of AI, so to say, data centers are the, you have to basically utilize the service models, or pay as you use models given by SIFI or other hyperscalers. So that's and I term such data centers not just as data centers. So they are actually true AI factories, so to say. They are the AI factories. There is where the magic happens, because you can't do magic on your data out of nowhere. So you need somewhere wherein all that compute and all that can happen. So my view is that for an enterprise to do experiments, to do pilots, to do, and then to expand to production grade AI solutions, AI enabled solutions, cloud and cloud enabled, cloud deployed data centers is the only way to go. Which one not to do, it will depend upon economics, it will depend upon what SLAs you mutually agree on all that, no? But ultimately, there's no shying off from that. And AI, I would say, you have to consume it as a service, because it's all beginning to basically show value within enterprises. And as more and more use cases happen, enterprises like us who are not purely into IT, we are consumers. IT is basically, we are enabling our operations, core operations. So for us to do so, we'll have to consume AI as a service, which can be consumed through data centers and facilities like what SIFI is offering. That's a brief which I wanted to highlight. Yeah.
Explained, Atul. Thank you so much. And here I would like to shift gears a little bit. And Sujoy, you wear two hats. You have a CIO hat and a CISO hat. And Shira mentioned cybersecurity challenges when I spoke with him earlier. So tell me this, your business is spread across distributed environments where AI models might run at the edge. In that context, what are the infrastructure security gaps that concern you the most? We're talking about challenges here.
Thank you for inviting me. Good afternoon to everyone. See, the most important thing, if I look only the security piece, not getting into the technology, is how you are managing the visibility of your entire landscape and what kind of controls you are put in. When I say visibility, it means that what kind of monitoring system you have, what kind of reporting system you have in terms of proactive reporting, so that in case of any issue, challenge, you can take immediate action. Similar way, when I say control, what kind of access control you have given to this sophisticated technology equipments, and how you are managing the routine operational work like updates, etc. So these two factors are very important when it comes to the security of any system, because in case visibility is not up to the mark, if anything happens, it is a direct impact to your production. I'm talking about from the manufacturing point of view, and then it further leads to the revenue loss and reputation loss, etc. Similar way, in case of any issue related to the devices, IoT devices, for example, it is not so simple like other updates in what you do in general, like system, PC, server, etc. They are very specific iOS OS which is running in them, and they also can be exploited. They have their own works. It has to be fixed on time to time basis, and in case if it is not there on time, then you can understand anything can happen. So from the security point of view, what we have seen practically, these two things are very important, and the challenge is visibility. There are now good technologies which can give you the visibility of IoT devices, OT devices, but still there are certain challenge. I don't want to get into nitty-gritty for some IoT devices in terms of updates, which creates a problem. The problem are of two types, which I have seen generally. One is from the OEM side, support skill set, and second, how the internal team, how you are upscaling those guys who can manage all this equipment. Because I come from a smart manufacturing background, and it's a very sophisticated and secure manufacturing which is happening. So these points are very important for us. Otherwise, in case of any problem or in case of any data leak, etc., it's a direct impact to the business. So this is my broad summation on the security side of in this IoT automation world.
Perfect. And I think I would like to call upon our custodians of AI factories and oil mills, as Atul pointed out. So then this one's for you. You just heard your peers talk about cost pressures, skills gaps, security challenges, and integration challenges. And I also have a question about co-location offerings, because we need to lower the entry barrier for manufacturers who want AI-ready infrastructure. You saw that in the poll question from our attendees as well. So maybe you can touch base on that a little.
Sure. Again, what I heard and what's typical questions which I have. Typically, the manufacturing segment is typically looking for CapEx rather than a CapEx model to OpEx. When I say CapEx to OpEx, that's the entire location portfolio itself. Managed services plays a vital role in this. And when I say managed services within involvement of infrastructure as a service, that becomes a vital play in this. When I say infrastructure as a service, typically all the infrastructure pain areas like the connectivity, the cloud, the AI enablement, the system itself, the threshold of the manpower deficiency, the pod structure, the system architecture, all those will be taken care or well understood by the managed services portfolio. Not only co-location will be like an infra provisioning to the entire manufacturing industry itself, but a managed services engine will actually help them to make sure that the gap has been well developed and that has been well taken care to make sure that that gap has been fulfilled by the managed service engine. So that becomes an ease of model for us to deliver very smooth transaction for a smooth transaction. At the same time, the managed service engine will also create a secure tunneling, because manufacturing industry is very niche industry. Typically the system, the data should not be outside the industry itself. So that should be very restricted to that certain segment itself. So security becomes a very niche topic on this. So managed services becomes a perfect engine to them and becomes an enabler for them. That's what the entire call would, that would be an entire offering from them. So infrastructure as a service and security as a service something which will be enabled along with the co-location AI enabled feature.
Excellent. And Amit, one final thought from your side. Given all these cost pressures and it has been hearing about, how is SIFI making AI-ready infrastructure commercially viable? Are you seeing more demand for consumption-based or hybrid pricing models? If you can reveal that to us.
Yeah, definitely. So we are obviously working on an OpEx model wherein the barrier is very low for all the manufacturing companies. And we talk about, I also wanted to touch base upon the latency parameter, which Shriram highlighted that, so that's where we are trying to build that ecosystem wherein we are closest to the user. So the plan is to go to 20 plus or 25 plus edge locations, which are interconnected to the major markets across India. So that's where the ease of use of the latency, we can offer ultra low latency to the end user sitting at the factory. From there, like if we say that the barrier again getting to a data center within the edge location, so we are okay to host few servers or few racks there and connecting it to the primary data centers at the major markets. So obviously the barrier is very low, and we are working on an OpEx model, pay as you go model. The power is as per the consumption. So obviously the optimization is possible across at the customer side also, at the user side also, and from us also we are working on the lowest PUEs or WE. So all those parameters are being maintained to ensure that it's a very optimized cost offering for our customers.
Excellent. At this point, I would like to pause for some time and get our attendees' views also in. We have 3 quick poll questions for them, if we can have them on the screen, please. Also, I know we are on time, but if I can please request everyone to stay back a few more minutes. I do have one more question that I would like everybody else to sort of chime in and give me their views upon. So our attendees and our panelists, I request you all to please stay on. All right, so here are a couple of questions for our very dear delegates. What kind of infrastructure are you currently using or planning to use for AI training and inferencing? What matters most to you when selecting a TC partner for AI or general workloads? And are you planning to migrate or expand your AI or general workloads to a co-location or hybrid cloud TC within the next 12 months? So all interesting ones. Let's see what we get. Also, thank you for putting on your questions in the Q&A box. I hope you're all getting your responses. And if there's anything more, the SIFI team will reach out post the webinar. So
are we done, Yamini, or?
okay, I need to ask you one more question, Atul, so I'll have to ask you to stay.
Yeah, sure.
I know we promised you 4 p.m., but Sorry.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, so we have our responses here. Just to save on some time, I'm not going to read that out loud, but I can see it's pretty interesting. So, I mean, Sojan, again, something for you to think about, and we can discuss that maybe later. For now, I'm closing on the poll responses, and we can proceed with a couple more questions, and then we'll move on. Perfect. So I did have actually a lot more questions, and I would like to touch upon at least one of them for all of you. Maybe please feel free to chime in. I would love to ask you all about ROI, because each one of you, I'm assuming at some point, have had to convince your CFO, okay, please, lots of money for it. This will give you some returns. So especially in this, when you're talking about DCs and AI, when you are evaluating AI ready infrastructure, and you have all had in some ways or the other capital intensive businesses, what ROI metrics matters most to you? How do you convince your CFO? Is it uptime, efficiency, game, scalability? What's the top of your list? So I think anybody can begin, but Sudeep, let's start with you. Why not?
Okay. So Yamini, whenever there is a discussion with the CFO, right? Uh, I generally don't discuss infrastructure, cloud, okay, because that is something very, very back-end thing. So what matters to them is when we are asking for any investment, okay. So there are only two conversations that happens. One is what is the impact, okay, the quantitative impact and the qualitative impact. These are the two things, and these are the two only parameters that we prefer to use. And definitely it further divided into two phases. One phase is where you really try, you do the POC, okay, and in that case you succeed, you fail, right? And at that moment of time, very difficult to define ROI. Okay, but when you scale it up, that is where the magic happens. So that is the tip. So matrix that we use is it could be qualitative, like the direct impact in terms of manpower saving, direct impact on top line, bottom line, or qualitative benefit in terms of improving the working environment, or empowering the users in their day-to-day work. So yeah, that's the only two things that we use when we talk about ROI and ask for any investment from a CFO or any leadership.
Amazing. Atul, do you agree to that as well? Is that your mindset too?
No, I think one that we need to understand that data centers, what SIFI and other such entities are provisioning, are not just general purpose compute and storage facilities of yesteryears. So these are very high end GPU and maybe high tech enabled. They maybe quantum is also around the corner. I'm not sure, it's
Yes,
not
yes.
happening, but and setting up these kind of uh, uh, infrastructure at our kind of premises is it's not practically feasible, okay, commercially as well. And likewise, no enterprise of no who wants to be in existence would or can negate that no, they would not use these AI tools or not get their feet wet on what's the art of the possible, what can we do in HR function, what can we do in operations maintenance. So each department, they are coming up with their use cases, and we are trying to figure out how that those use cases can be basically deployed, and we can do pilots and proof of concepts and then scale it up. For doing so, I would say, at least for AI enabled data centers, we are not even talking, uh, candidly, we are not talking to CFO that will improve the ROI. It's about our existence actually. So for us to be relevant for next in 2 years time, and our and neither we pretend, let me tell you, no, we don't even pretend that we have the skill sets to manage these microservices, these containers, and the automation orchestration of these high-end data centers. We can't do that. We don't have the skills. So, and even if we have it today, we can hire someone today, they'll run away in 3 months' time. So retention, skill retention, and that also is a problem. So it's like you don't have to generate electricity. If there's something available, you have to go out and subscribe to it. No, so you do what you're supposed to do, as in the enterprise. So you have to leverage the capabilities and the offerings which are available from these best of the breed service providers and AI factories, so to say, and consume from there in a secure manner. Because another aspect is, from a cybersecurity standpoint, also there's so much happening every day I'm saying that no cybersecurity specialist in an enterprise like ours can keep pace with what is happening. Let me tell you, no, we may we may fake, I would say, we may fake that no, we know it all, but the reality is, no, unless you have a SOC or something, or some managed service provider, it's very difficult for an enterprise to manage. So you have to see what part of your work can get outsourced, in the sense how you can leverage the offerings which are available as a service. So coming to and summarizing your point is, of course, rationalization in terms of manpower, that is one area, but that's an opportunity. Another is, no, what in our case, especially in chemical petrochemicals, no, you have to also monitor what inventory pilferage is likely happening. So we are doing one project wherein we have found that we also make liquor. Okay, we our name glycols suggests that no, we are into glycols or glycodine or something. We don't make any of it. So we, of course, we make monoethylene glycols, but that's for a chemical purpose, and then we also make other specialty chemicals. But for our liquor business, we found there's a unique case that no, cases which are manufactured and then loaded on the truck, there was theft which was happening. So we are now working that know how we can monitor the truck loading cycle, so that no, we can, through the QR code barcode which is there, we can identify which particular case has got loaded to which truck, and also keep account simultaneously. So all of that we are doing, which is not possible manually, because because the labor is there. No, you can't, I'm not saying you can't trust them, but of course they may have their different challenges or whatever, to keep that track. And AI and such solutions, they never sleep. And you may have a good supervisor, bad supervisor, or whatever, or an average supervisor, but if you have something which is up and available on AI, your quality, your throughput, you can have a continuous check and exception based alerts to basically intervene and make sure that no, you are running at the optimal at all times. That's what. And thank you so much for having me. I'm there. Yeah.
Really perfect. So Joy Shriram, I'd love to know your thoughts as well if you have something.
So,
Yeah.
as time is running out, I'll give a short answer to this. You need to create a strong business case whenever you're going to the CFO or any committee where you need to take the approvals. That business case should carry the factual data, why you need this particular solution. If you don't do that, what will be the impact to the organization? These are very important things, and it should have the what Sandeep just said, that it has to be qualified with quantitative data inputs, so that they understand that particular business case, and then take the next action onto that. So you have to have a strong business case to showcase that why you are wanting this particular solution in the ecosystem, and what kind of benefit it is going to give in terms of productivity enhancement or security, or at the end, what is the improvement it will bring to the entire revenue of the organization. That is very important. And apart from that, also you have to mention in that, which is very important, that what kind of checkpoint, what kind of review mechanism you are going to put in, so that the things which you have written, it is happening according to that.
Absolutely.
So this is my short answer to
Very interesting.
ROI cost.
Yeah. See, again, I want to take one step back, right? Because the current stage of it, right, the whole leadership and the strategy, right, it's currently slightly misaligned, right? If you want to have certain effective AI implementations, right, it needs a top-down leadership push. Plus, there is this bigger change in the strategic, visions. It's not just delegating the AI infusion in the company to IT department alone. So every business needs to understand, and business users have to understand these major portion of business and the leaders currently lack understanding, especially on what is the implication it is going to give it on the strategy per se. So it needs a continuous uplift in education of all CX and C-suite leaders and underneath, and then getting their goals also, because they are the ones who make the business goals and propel that underneath the organizations, right? So then only they can able to get the proper funds or funding and right governance structure. So every company is trying out, but not many are succeeding to it. The reason is this. And second, every time when leadership gets into a conversations, right, the first question is, how do you quantify the return of investment for the
Yep.
AI? So which is a more failure in terms of quantifying ROI right now, because it's very difficult to accurately measure what it is going to give in us ROI, and when, how long this is going to happen, and this is very, very difficult because currently it is more theoretical at many areas and we are just piloting it every time. And so it's better to start with low cost MVPs to demonstrate a tangible business benefits right now, and then to scale up the investments gradually and then get the right AI tools. See, there are a lot of technical challenges out there in making even a manufacturing facilities or manufacturing IT landscapes moving into an AI. But they are complex, cumbersome, but solvable with the right expertise and right roadmap and getting the people to move in that direction. But organizational challenges it's overwhelmingly very, very complex to resolve because of resistance coming in all directions. It needs a cultural change, mindset, and making the leaders to practice this time to time it's very difficult. So it goes into a monetary side of it. It is not immediate. When it goes into it have to come via a solid practice, solid expertise, proper business goals, then gradually the implementations and further, will yield results. It takes time, but it's still doable. So that is actually the current state of it. So how we can fit in our solutions here is something what Safi can look in, and then make certain C-suite leaders to accept that and then move forward. Otherwise, we will still lacking in and talk or discuss about the AIs all the time, but not moving forward.
I don't think I could have said it any better. So thank you so much, Shriram, Sujoy, Atul, Sudeep. Thank you so much for making the time, sticking till the very end. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I'm sure all of us have a lot to take away. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to all
Thank
fellow
you.
panelists. Thank you so much.
For attendees,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
everyone.
Sudeep.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good
Attendees,
rest of the
please
evening.
do not stay, please stay on. I have a couple of questions. We are not wrapping up the discussion yet. I mean, I'm just thanking, we are wrapping the panel discussion, but the session is still on for a few more minutes. So please do not start dropping out to my attendees and delegates. We've heard from the enterprise leaders. Of course, we want to hear from you as well. So please, one more quick poll question for our delegates here. What's your biggest challenge in deploying AI workloads? I think, again, after hearing all of the insights, I think we'll have more nuanced answers here. Lack of skilled talent, infrastructure bottlenecks, high compute costs, data silos, unavailability, security and compliance. I'm not sure where to start.